Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. Today we have a ton of hot stuff that we'll be going over with you all on. The first thing that I want to kick off and start talking about is the FTC fines many of the home flipping seminar influencers and a couple of companies millions of dollars. The FTC actually issued a $12 million refund to these consumers that have been damaged. So let's kick it off and chop that up. I got to be honest. Like when I heard that, I was like, this is like a buyer beware type statement. But at the same time, part of me is like, is there some misleading things that happen where they overpromise and underdeliver?
You can always tell when there's a big seminar in the valley, because we as realtors get a bunch of calls from these buyers that have all these weird questions
Investors.
for you. And you're like, okay,
come to my home flipping seminar on Saturday and you'll learn. Right?
Yeah.
Do like these drop voicemails, all over the place, run radio ads.
And some of them charge a lot of money, like
I know, I can
tens
remember.
of thousands of dollars
Yes.
to
like 30
to
to 50K.
access their contractor network, and
I know.
and you're just like, holy crap.
I know, we're going to get in on that.
There's a lot of gullible people out there.
Well, I think the interesting thing was the Flipper Flop stars were embroiled into this. It was Tarek El Moussa and his
Oh, really?
yes,
Yep.
exactly, and his ex Heather. I don't really.
I forget her name too.
I don't
I'm
know her
sure
last
it's an
name. So I
article.
think she got married and anyway, divorced, married, divorced, married again. Anyway, so
There was a marriage scandal.
yes, so they were kind of part of the influencers that would bring people into these seminars because
Yep.
of their influence, obviously. And I think I'm a little partial to these seminars because that's how Jason and I got our start in real estate. We watched a Carlton Sheets
It was
video.
Carlton Sheets,
Carlton
though.
Sheets.
He didn't charge that much.
No, I
it was
mean-
Did. That's why I hear in the name Carlton Full of Sheets.
full of sheets.
I never heard
You've
that.
never heard that one? Oh,
He
no, yeah.
inspired us to get into real estate, though.
All this, I would also challenge that a lot of the content that's being dropped in these seminars is accurate. What's being probably misportrayed is how difficult it is, how important the contractor network is, how important it is to buy right? Money's made on the buy, not on the sell.
That's the number one rule. You can skip the seminar. Your money is made on the buy. That's it.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep.
I think we're done.
And probably too,
Mic drop.
they make it just seems like these leads are just going to flood to you.
Oh.
That's just like being a realtor. It probably takes a strong network and or some type of level of prospecting, and sometimes that costs money or a lot of time.
Good old hustle muscle, right, Elliot?
You got to raise that hustle muscle. And that's the mat, right? Like you got to be. I'll throw in another saying. What is it? She or he that is most certain wins. That's the type of mindset that you have to have in this. So, I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I've been in the real estate game almost 20 years now. Fortunately, unfortunately, I have had a lot of past clients, friends, family members that have attended, gone to these types of seminars, and almost all of them across the board I've never seen have success.
Yeah.
And maybe they did a successful flip or two here or there, but to actually like turn it into a thriving business, no.
No, you gotta be pretty intense about trying to find deals.
Absolutely.
It's not like you spend a few days and you found a deal. I mean, you can get lucky and find a deal like that, but it's days, hours, weeks, months trying to find things
of
these things.
networking, or you have to have some kind of machine.
Yeah, and
feed you
it's
the leads.
some of these shows. I think they really mess people up because they, they'll say that they haven't seen the inside. It's a bunch of BS. Any investor does not, unless you're getting a smoking deal where even if the house is completely wrecked inside, you're gonna make money. People get in the house and see the house.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah, they send their gophers to go
yeah, I
break
mean,
in.
they usually have locksmiths, whatever, that can pick the locks and open them up and walk through the house, make sure that everything looks good. They're it's locked, I can't get in. Like, no, they have lock picking sets. That's
So
how
you
they get
think
in.
that is staged for
Oh, of course.
production quality?
Yeah. I haven't seen this. Oh my God, look at this thing. This place is what did we do? Yeah. And it's like ridiculous. And then people think, oh, okay, so it's acceptable to go into a house or to go into a deal and not know what's going on inside.
Yep.
Not do an inspection, not figure
That's
out.
how
You know,
you can lose
hey,
your tail.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Right.
how about the ones that you guys handle all the time is just the bids, right? From the contractor, knowing what's par pricing, what's inflated pricing, right? Like there's such a skill there.
Yeah, you can get an array of bids for a remodel, and it could be, the differences could be
40%.
50 to 75% difference,
Yep.
But,
I think one of the things that they alleged was that from the stage, these influencers were encouraging the attendees of the seminar to take out credit cards to pay for these things, and then promising that they would get their money back. And so I think that, from that aspect, that's kind of sad. That sounds like they're preying on people who have really high hopes and maybe don't understand that this can work, but it takes a lot more work than they probably anticipate.
definitely get the attention of the FTC when they're telling them to take out credit cards.
Yeah, from the stage, yeah.
Well,
it's pretty interesting.
On this too, and I mean, again, I know that this is kind of a really interesting story, and so maybe Kobe, you can share the link to this article in this, but it talks about how this has been going on since like 2022, and in 2023 they entered in a settlement with the FTC that led to $324 million in.
Wow.
I mean, so when you think about
$324 million
to consumers across the country.
So there was a company that was putting on the seminars, and that's who received the lion's share of the violation. And then the influencers, like the Tarek Al Musa, he was part of the 12 million.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
Okay. So there was like this bigger company.
I think it's this Zurich's LLC.
Got it. Right. So
It
they
must
were
have been
fined like close to 300 million.
All in all, it looks like, I don't know if it's I think they got like the $100 and something million, but it says that the commission's interactive dashboard for refund data provided a state-by-state breakdown of refunds in the FTC case. In 2023, the FTC actions led to $324 million in refunds to consumers across the country.
Can you click it and see what was refunded in Arizona?
Let me see. No, I can't. That's not
okay.
that breakdown.
All right.
No, that's not hyperlinked in that.
So
I know, but pretty wild, right?
That's a lot of refunds. And
it's a ton of
That
refunds.
is a lot
Buyer
of
beware.
I remember, was it Dustin Brom? He posted something recently that he couldn't get Stripe to accept him to do, because he was doing a seminar for something. And Stripe wouldn't basically work with them to take money for a seminar. So he was trying to what's going on? Why can't they?
It is much more difficult to get Stripe access than people realize.
my
Like we had to go through that
We definitely went
process.
through that.
Yeah, it was intense. Even like getting an app on the App Store
Yeah.
is intense. Like there is some serious vetting that goes into that. And if they deem you to be in that sort of like risky category of business, like forget it. You're
And real
likely
estate
not
is
going to get
definitely
it.
risky for these guys.
Real estate seminars. I think the thing that surprised me most about this FTC settlement was that these individuals are barred from doing real estate coaching.
Yes.
And so they cannot do real estate coaching any longer.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the headlines in Market Watch says house flipping influencer and life coach hit with hefty fines.
Do they name anybody else? Just the Tyreek?
It
Al
actually
Musa?
said that there's ties to several HGTV flip shows.
Oh.
Okay, so switching gears, let's talk a little bit about Open Door, because the CEO has made some interesting comments in their recent shareholder reporting. So first thing I found to be really interesting was that the CEO, Carrie Wheeler, said that Open Door essentially, let me just read it. This is this is the transcript of their recent earnings call. She said that home sellers desperately need an alternative to the traditional real estate process, and that's exactly what we're providing. She then goes on to say that year to date in all of their markets across the U.S., 1 in 4 sellers within their buy box got a cash offer and ultimately went on to list and sell their home on the open market.
Dang. 25%.
Is that insane?
Mm-hmm.
So it used to be like in really concentrated areas, there was data that suggested that half of sellers in the buy box would get that cash offer. And, that's pretty powerful. But when you spread it out across the entire US and you really think about that, oh my goodness, 1 in 4 sellers are getting a cash offer before they list and sell on the MLS. It's insane.
That
it's
shows
insane.
how prevalent it's become and just how normal.
Well, it's because of, anyone would want that option. It just most of the time doesn't work because they need more money.
Right. Or they don't know about it.
Yeah.
So what about the people that don't know about it? And then if they do know about it, like you said, they want the option. And then the offer doesn't work. So kind of in thinking through this, we've been developing a new tool here at Zoodealio, and it's pretty darn amazing. It's our Zoodealio home report. And what I love about our home report is it gives sellers those live cash offers on a monthly basis so they can track that cash offer value. And the best part is it is branded to you as the agent. So if you're really thinking about how you shift your business and you work with more sellers, you really need to be giving them what they want. And the data doesn't lie. They're getting cash offers before they list and sell on the open market. So wouldn't you want to be the one that's giving them the cash offer? It's just a no-brainer.
Be the one that's giving them the cash offers on a monthly basis.
Well,
let's
do a little reverse engineering on what you just have there. So how many units did they say that they closed last quarter?
This is actually, I found their numbers to be crazy.
And we're going to have to speculate what their acceptance rate would be.
Their stock's in the tank too.
Their stock is not doing well. All right, they purchased 4,771 homes. And they sold 4,078 homes. That's insane, guys.
So think about how many opportunities, requests they're getting. 1 in 4 homes. As an agent, think about the amount of leads that you would have if 25% of every house that hit the market was a lead and an opportunity for you to have a home selling conversation with. Right now, that's obviously a little unrealistic to think that you could get every lead, but think about just even then, let's tone it back down to reality. Think about your known database and contacts that you have access to. That's what Kayla's talking about. These people are curious about these options. And so when you can have an instant home selling conversation with them through a unique value proposition that you're doing, and it does the marketing for you month after month, and it's AI powered that's going to have conversations with them to inspire that transaction and capture all of that and report it back to you. I love what we've created there, and I think that it's just a tremendous opportunity for agents to scale up their business in a whole new way.
Absolutely agree. And I think we talk a lot about how technology has really changed consumer behavior and consumer expectations. Ooh. And when it comes to the home selling process, I think that the technologies like the Open Door and the Offer Pad have really brought this different conversation to the forefront of people's minds. And so agents need to pivot and adapt. And what a better time when all of these buyer broker changes are happening in our local MLS. We're in the Arizona Regional MLS last Thursday, I believe, which was August 1st. The compensation was removed from the MLS. All of our new forms were released. The practice is in full force. It is absolutely mind-blowing to see so many realtors still struggling with these concepts. I'm seeing things like people not even understanding that this actually isn't a law. It's a rule change, and it's only governed by the National Association of Realtors. So you see there's a lot of confusion just even from within the real estate community. So as that's happening, here are some interesting insights that are being revealed. So Redfin broke this, and actually, interestingly enough, Carrie Wheeler, the CEO of Open Door, mentioned this in their earnings call as well, that buyer agent commissions are already going down. So as of this year, we've already seen a decrease in buyer agent commissions.
This quick?
Yes, already. So here's what happened. They declined from 2.55%, or they declined from 2.62% to 2.55%. So we've already seen them come down. Now,
0.1%.
So here's the good news, though. Home price appreciation is up, and so earnings were up a little bit per deal at an average of $15,377. But we're already seeing it happen, guys. What do we think?
So I just saw something on Reddit here. this is actually Rob Hahn posted this,
I love that guy.
and it's from a realtor, and the title is FUCK.
Okay.
New forms, no showings. 5 leads so far straight up refused to sign the new short form required to tour homes. I wrote it up under showing services $0 for 2 weeks. So basically, the guy said he'll show houses for 2 weeks for $0.
$0. Yeah.
My services are complimentary for the first 2 weeks to see if we're a good fit. Then after this time, if you feel comfortable and confident moving forward with working with me, we can discuss signing a longer full service agreement. No, we didn't have. And the people go, no, we didn't have to do this before. I know it's extremely new regulation. Here's proof, and he shows these people the proof, and that people are still saying, no, I don't want to sign anything at all. So 0 showings, objections, the objections are not even about commission split. Just the form itself freaks people out.
Wow.
Makes sense.
And that's from like a consumer saying
Makes
that to
sense.
the realtor. Gotcha.
I've never had to sign anything to go look at a house.
Wait,
what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Just show me the freaking house. I don't want to sign anything.
I wonder what state that was in. So in Arizona, the Arizona Department of Real Estate issued a statement, and they were on the news talking about this new change and kind of like letting consumers know that, hey, this is real. This is a new thing.
You're gonna have to sign something to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to sign
Yeah,
something
they did
before.
in Arizona. It was on
Easy
Instagram.
Family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all sorts of interesting stuff, and I think that we're already seeing kind of commissions come down a little bit. We know that agents are trying to shift their business to working with sellers. What's our advice to agents right now? Because it's just like there's a lot of turmoil. I mean, we just saw
Buy
this.
Zoodealio and work on sellers. Don't mess with buyers because
I
the
hate
buyers
to
will
be a
come.
product
They'll
plug.
come to you.
I hate to be a product plug right now.
You have
but-
listings. The buyer's gonna come to you. Do open houses. Now you just hold an open house all weekend long. You'll probably sell it yourself and make double the commission.
Well, I think the states where the buy the house in cash on behalf of the borrower is going to thrive, right? It almost is kind of taking that old school mentality where commission was without a doubt put into the price of the house. It was just done by the seller and paid out. Well, it's actually the exact same thing. The buyer was still paying for the commission, which is one of the issues, right? Saying that they weren't paying the commission when they actually were, right, through the price of the property. Exact same philosophy where they can now come in, potentially negotiate a good deal with the cash, and then when you get your mortgage, you're going to put that commission inside the mortgage.
Yeah, but buyers are gonna be smart. Buyers are smart when they have to pay for something because now they have to pay for something. Now they'd be like, well, how do I get around from paying it?
Yep.
Well,
I'm just gonna go straight to the listing agent.
Yep.
And
that would be my advice to agents is to become really crafty and really smart. I found that whenever I did whatever it was in my real estate career, became a little bit more of a niche, right? Not just so broad. I educated myself really well. So whenever I talked to a consumer, one, they knew what the hell I was talking about, and that creates confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start seeing the angles, right? There's going to be angles for a buyer's agent to get paid. We kind of know what some of those are without going down a rabbit hole right now, I think. But in the future, there might be other things discovered. So I would just say, educate yourself really well on how this works and how you can still benefit the consumer. And I think it'll all come around.
Yeah. Riches are in the niches, right?
So there's a hefty fine in our local MLS if you mention anything about compensation, and it's like I think it's like $500 for the first offense, and I think it's like $5,000 for the second offense. And there is a local, I won't name any names, but there is a local iBuying company that has dozens and dozens of listings on the market right now that violated the rules with some of the statements that were in MLS. And oh my goodness, the realtor forums here were going crazy.
They are throwing rocks.
Yes,
for sure.
our managing broker is like, I hope that they get fined. And I was like, we're doing the math on this, and I'm going, I doubt they're going to be fined that much money, but it's going to be really
sizable.
interesting.
Nice little slap on the hand.
Fun times for sure.
Yeah.
So despite that happening, the market kind of melting down a little bit over the weekend. Do we want to talk about what happened with the Bank of Japan and all of that Fun stuff.
So the Bank of Japan raised their rates a little bit, and what a lot of these hedge funds and companies were doing was they were, borrowing money from Japan at 0%, and then they were taking that money and investing their money in stocks and crypto and all sorts of different things. Well, the Bank of Japan raised their rates. People freaked out, so they started selling all of their stocks and assets to cover their loans, and it freaked the market out. And Japan went down like 12%, but then the next day they went up to 10%. So
it was almost like even money.
Yeah. So, but crypto got hammered because it happened over the weekend, and people at that point they go, I gotta sell something. So they only could sell crypto, so they just started selling crypto, and then it just started to,
I know that's the good and the bad, right? With cryptos, it's 24/365 market.
Yeah,
24/7, 365 market.
But that's coming back too, but it's not as fast as the market has come back. But so there's definitely an opportunity to.
I was gonna say there's an opportunity
buy some Bitcoin.
Yeah, buy
your Bitcoin.
Try to read as much from and again, right? You're just, unless you do some type of crazy track record on somebody, you never know if actually what they're saying is fully legitimate and true. But from the consensus that I've come to learn, even though I wasn't in the crypto game on the last Bitcoin halving, they say it takes about 12 months. And if history repeats itself, it's going to be about a year before we see some massive explosion.
We going to the moon?
Yeah, well, it's hard
One
to
way or
predict,
another,
right? Because there's
right?
times.
So
there's
it's going
times
to happen. It's just I don't think it's happening as fast as some other people thought it was going to.
Well, because history, there's times it happened
Or
quickly, and there's times that it took, like, I think it was the second halving, it took almost a year to happen before it really started to spike.
And when you look at the charts, they're pretty darn similar.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, right, this chart's higher, but I'm talking about the upwards and downtrends.
the actual curve trajectory.
Yeah.
So in the wake of a somewhat weak jobs report last week, we saw interest rates come down to the lowest levels that they've been at for the entire year. And what's interesting too is the spread is narrowing between the 10-year treasury and the 30-year fixed, which is good news. Despite that, we know that things have been a little bit slow in real estate. And I think that we could share some insights as far as what we're seeing. I feel like there might be a little bit more pain in the market. There's a lot of uncertainty going on. And I know, Keith, you work really closely with our buyers. What are you seeing with their inventory, and how is that trending?
Yeah, I mean, I think the word probably uncertainty is the best word to use out of anything. Talking with the buyers and having pretty intimate conversations with the listing agents, right? Seeing that there's little to no showings, and they're I'm talking to my broker, and my broker's just talking about how slow things are, so I think we need to do a price reduction. And it's like, normally, the listing agents, especially on like a unique program, right, they're not always the ones approaching you to do a price reduction. And I've been seeing that happen more frequently, probably the last 60 days.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I was going to approach you about a price reduction. And so I just, it's interesting, right? Because they know that if it's just sitting, that doesn't serve the marketplace, and that doesn't serve just whatever situation of why that property was, bought on whatever program either. So
yeah, an experienced listing agent has their fingers directly on the pulse of that local market. It's the best direct feedback.
I know we've said this a couple times as a team, but there's the saying that you're dealing with either a beauty contest or a pricing war. And I'm telling you, even the ones that are winning the beauty contest are still in the pricing war more than before.
Absolutely. When prices are where they are,
there's some nice ones that are in the 800,000 and 900,000s. They're just sitting stagnant right now. And in the past, those ones were actually getting gobbled up at a quicker level than the lower price ones, because that market didn't seem to be,
as affected.
Yeah. I'm talking maybe the house isn't considered luxury, but I'm more talking about from luxury pricing points.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's roundtable this question. Bullish or bearish on the housing market between now and the end of the year? Elliot, first.
I think it's going to be based on everything that's going on. And one of the things we didn't mention is that the Iran, attacked the U.S. war base this morning. So there's things like that, or I think it was overnight. There's things like that I'm very suspect on and watching, and I think that it's going to cause more pause and more uncertainty. The election stuff that's been going on, I think, is going to cause pause. It's going to buck the trend. So I think I'm bearish.
Keith,
I'm always bullish because regardless of all those things that Elliot just said, what do we know? There's opportunity in everything. And that's why I take the standpoint of being bullish. So let's say the housing market does slow down a little bit. Let's say we see an average of, I'm just throwing a random number out there, right? 4.6% price, reductions on average between now and the end of the year, right? Which could be, some people, it could be scary for some people. But there's always opportunity when you're buying and selling houses, and there's always opportunity by being a realtor. There's always opportunity by being a consumer. And so if you keep your hands on the pulse of the market, then, then I think that's why I'm bullish. And I'll use the Bitcoin that we were talking about a second ago. Even though it got quote unquote hammered, it can be scary, especially if you bought at 70,000, right? And you were newer to the consumer market and you're like, oh, this sucks. But what you do to balance out your portfolio is you buy on the dips.
Yep.
If you're still confident knowing that the market's going to recover, and then it balances out your portfolio, and now you're not as big a loss as you think you were.
Yeah, there's that guy, Mr. 100, who buys like 100 Bitcoin a day.
More than 100. It's sometimes 100 an hour.
Who is Mr. 100?
Dang,
All right,
that guy's got some serious cheddar.
I think it's Michael Dell.
Michael Dell? You don't think it's Elon?
No.
All right, Jason, bullish or bearish on the housing market?
I would say I'm bearish. I mean, I'm bullish myself because I want to buy as much as possible between now and the end of the year. But I think we're going to see a still slow down. I think people are freaked out. They're war. You got presidential election. You got all this stuff going on. So people are sitting on the sidelines going, "I'll just wait," unless they have to move. They have to move, and that's why I'm bullish, because I think those people we want to buy those houses as much as possible and hold on to them. And I think next year is going to go.
Yeah,
like we're gonna get some
solid year,
some rate cuts here in September, November, and December, and I think then I think we're gonna see like another. I wouldn't say a boom, but I think people will be getting off the sidelines trying to buy as much, and I think we'll see some prices start to stabilize and go up. So yeah. So that's what I think. What do you think, Kayla? Bullish or bearish?
I think you've all made excellent points. I'm with Keith. I'm bullish because of the opportunity, and it's not necessarily impacted by what people are doing. It's impacted by how we react to it. So being proactive, not reactive. And there will always be people that need to buy and sell. It might be harder to find them. I understand that. Lots of empathy. There's a lot of change happening right now, not just in the realtor community, but obviously economically, politically. And so there's a lot going on, but I am optimistic about the future. And I think that for those of us that have our pulse on the market, like Keith mentioned, we will do wonderful. So that's my take.
Yeah. Let me throw in this last little thing, because I think you just made a tremendously valid point. There's always going to be people that need to move and sell, right? And throwing, kind of being a numbers nerd and looking at it just from this statistical fact, last year we had a 4.5% turnover rate, which is almost a whole percent lower than what it typically is. There's a very, very slim chance that it's going to be under 4, right? So again, just do that, like whatever your goals are. If you need to apply that equation to it and realize that
what's under 4?
The
turnover
rate.
Oh, the
How many
turnover
people are
rate,
going to buy and sell?
It will likely be, it won't be under 4 is what Elliot's saying.
Gotcha.
Like it was 4.5 last year, which is a really low turnover rate year. And so this year we're anticipating like 4.25
right
ish.
But you have those stats on after a presidential election?
Yeah, we went through those last week.
Yeah.
I mean, sales go up, prices go up, new home prices go
From now
up.
to the end of the year, like this is the time to buy if you want to buy something, because it's going to be super slow. I feel like it's going to be
this is your
super slow, but it's
opportunity.
going to be slow. And so people that buy between now and the end of the year are probably they're going to be able to take advantage of that slope up that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
you
don't know
refi.
if I don't know if Elliot wants to finish his thought there, but I also want to roundtable quickly interest rates and what we expect the cut to be in September.
Yeah, no, I'm complete on that. Like I said, it's just to me, it's sorry to be so pragmatic about it, but at the end of the day, it's just a math equation, and if you apply that to your business, you can see right through it. It just means you need to scale up your conversation.
What did they
Love
just
it.
go to right now on average?
We're about like
Jerome Powell, the Ice
6.32.
King, finally
Is the
finally
30-year fix.
gave us a little
I couldn't remember
reprieve.
if it dropped below 6.5.
Well, no, there hasn't been a cut yet.
No,
I
it
thought,
doesn't
I
cut.
thought that, or
No.
it's the prediction.
It
No, they
was
kept it.
it was the jobs report, and then the 10-year Treasury went down,
Okay.
and so then the spread narrowed, and rates
So okay.
are lower.
Rates-
So
Rates are lower in reference to that.
correct.
It's recovering though. That
Oh, it was 6.52 today.
yeah. So it went down to 6.4, but it's,
I didn't know if they actually got below.
yeah, but you got a
6.5.
6.5% interest rate. I mean, that's not bad.
No, not at all.
I mean, we're at. Well, didn't we hit 8? We hit
We're
8,
close.
right?
Yeah.
We're almost 8.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like last October.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see 5s in like 30, 45 days.
Okay.
Wow, you think
Yeah.
so?
Yeah, I do.
If we hit 5s, I think actually I could see that.
So what would the cut
Movie.
need to be? 50 basis points
Yeah,
in
I
September?
think it's gonna be 50 basis points. I think there may even be like an emergency cut here in the next week or two. But yeah, I think that will reduce that spread. I think the Treasury, the 10-year
get that-
10-year bond will come down, and it'll hit 5.59, 5.95.
If we
Like-
get that, I'm going to change my
like-
statement to bear bull.
September 15th. That's what I'm saying. If you start like go buy a house in the next
It's a
30 days.
I'm thinking of like the horse human. What are those
Yeah.
called? Like in Narnia.
What are those?
Yes, you guys know what I'm talking about.
It starts
Nope.
with an M.
Nobody? Minotaur?
Minotaur. That's it.
Minotaur.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, what thoughts?
Cool.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it because it seems like with everything going on right now, I could see them going up a little bit more before they come back down.
Ooh, more pain in
The rates?
market.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. All right. How about you, Elliot?
I think there's gonna be one last little landslide before there's relief. Just like what's going on in the crypto market.
I don't know. I mean, we haven't had any conspiracy talk today on the show, so I guess we can't have one without having a little bit. To me, I think some of this stuff is still about diversion. Don't look behind the curtain. Whether it be the attacks in Iran, we're continuing to give them money even though they're clearly a foe. People are, capturing American citizens and then, using it as negotiations to get these people back, to get their terrorist people. There's just a whole bunch of crap out there that we have become, honestly, such a soft nation. And so I'm speaking a little bit to what Keith is saying is if that kind of stuff continues, it's still like diversion, which obviously is related to rates, where if we can't put that confidence back in there and inflation and all these other things stay as prevalent as they are, of course, the rates are going to stay higher. But if we can get that 0.5 point cut that like Jay's talking about, I 0.5% would move mountains.
I believe a cut is coming as well.
Well, I mean, everyone says it's good. I mean, the Vegas odds are 100% it's coming in September.
So I guess it's not much.
Vegas
of a-
is almost never wrong.
Yeah.
They're super solid.
Yeah, and Jerome Powell pretty much said it's going to be, but he's got to.
But I seem to read an article in the last week where like he was getting a tremendous amount of outside pressure on.
Well,
people
especially
were
now with the jobs
demanding-
report. I mean, the jobs report came after he spoke. If the jobs report came in before, he probably would have cut in July, but he didn't. So now people are saying he should emergency do it now. But then there's other people saying don't do that because what's going to happen is if he did do an emergency cut, then the markets would say, oh well, he must think the markets, the economy is really bad. So then the stock market would sell off even worse. You got to cascade it. So.
A good summarization of this, there's an excellent book. It's called Business Adventures, and it's one of the 5 books that Bill Gates recommends that every business entrepreneur reads. So I read it, and it's a very arduous read. It is not an easy read at all, but they're little stories of things that have happened throughout history. And one of the stories is about stock market crashes and how generally the fear is usually worse than the problem, and the fear makes the problem magnified. And so because of that, we have to be really careful not to overreact to these things and circumstances. And when your Bitcoin is falling and all of that, and just keep a good head on our shoulders, because again, we are in real estate. You know, you can't live in a stock certificate. You can live in a home. It is a very wonderful asset for you. Jason and I were having a conversation last night, and I said, you know, you really can't put a price on being in your home, having a home, and having that stability for your family. So I love that we get to be part of this asset class. And also thank you for tuning in. If you are enjoying this conversation, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified of our new episodes.